Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome once again to our Dream Do Done broadcast every Monday, 1-ish Eastern Standard Time. We're here with an episode of Dream Do Done, understanding and talking through the process to progress, that it just doesn't happen overnight. And with accountability, you can go from dreaming to doing and getting it done. And I'm thrilled to introduce our co-hosts for this show, the how-to coach, Tamara Hartley, the Pulpit Chic, Serena Brown-Travis, and myself, the Chief Faithpreneur, Dr. Stacie NC Grant. So we welcome you to our show. Hey, Jessica, thank you for joining in. We see you out there. And today's show is not going to be a typical show because guess what? We're not all right. We're seeing what's going on in the world, in our country, and it's just a lot to process. And we don't want to pretend like we can go about everyday business as if nothing is going on. So we had our pre-show before our show, as we typically do, because this is our masterminding accountability opportunity for us as business women, as wives, as mothers, to be able to hold each other to standards of excellence. And we just decided to take our behind the scenes conversation and make it live. And literally, this is our 1.5-year anniversary. So thank you to everyone who's been tuning in to Dream Do Done. We've upgraded the studio, so you're tuning in on a couple of different platforms today. Aren't we fancy? So welcome, and we're excited about how we're expanding our offerings, and you can stay connected to us at dreamdodone.com. Hey, Stephen, good to see you as well. So I'm going to turn it over to my co-host so they can say their greetings, and then we're just going to talk this afternoon. So, Tamara Hartley, the how-to coach, over to you.
Wow, I was dreading having to be the one to go first. I am really trying to hold my emotions together, and I've been so emotional all weekend. So I just want to welcome everyone to this show. I hope that you all are doing well as you can. I hope people are talking with one another, having meaningful conversations, and really just not sweeping all that's going on this week up under the rug, and really being able to share and talk about it. As a mother, I've been up and down. I don't know if anyone has paid attention to my Facebook posts, but, I shared a couple of different perspectives about what's going on because, and talking to my young people, they have such brilliant minds of their own. They really allowed me to see some different perspectives. So I did share that on my Facebook page, but really it's just been an emotional time. And I am glad to be here today because as soon as I got on the phone with my sisters, I was able to smile. I told Stacie, I said, you know what though, but just minutes ago I was in tears. So I've been up and down, and who knows how this show is going to go today. So I'm telling you now, as a mother, as a Black woman, as a sister, friend, and not even just for my children, but for everyone's children, I'm just real emotional right now. So I'm just putting it out there right now.
We appreciate that, and we're here to go through this together. This is hard, and if anybody to claim or act like it's not hard, they a lie and the devil's a lie. Yeah. So we appreciate your transparency and honesty. Hey, Andrew, my husband is saying hi to us on a couple of platforms, so I need to acknowledge it. Hey, boo. Thank you for tuning in, but we're going to go over to the Pulpit Chic right now. Serena Brown-Travis, what do you have to say to the family this morning?
Well, listen, the first thing is it's good to see you. It's good to be seen. So, yes, I actually share Tamara's sentiments. This has been definitely a tough weekend. Besides the pandemic, which I think has taken us all by storm, we were starting to find our rhythm. I felt like we were doing much better. We were doing our masks. We were washing our hands. We everywhere we go. And now Cameron mentioned, we've been sweeping things under the rug, and now the rug has a huge lump under it. And so the rug, besides the lump, it's now becoming a volcano that is exploding. And so therefore, there's no hand sanitizer that can wipe this away. There's no mask. In fact, the masks are coming off, and, we're unfortunately starting to see things for what they were. Even people of faith, we are, holding our Bibles, we're scratching our heads. And so anyways, it's good to be here, good to be seen. And we are going to still try, no matter what, to be a voice of light, hope, and inspiration. But I must say, as all of us have, we are concerned for our husbands, we're concerned for our sons, my boy cousins, my male cousins. And at this point, we're concerned about ourselves and our skin color and the image and the hatred and everything else that's going on around us. So we've got a lot of work to do. My father says the only reason why the bad people are winning is because they're outworking the good people. So we're trying to take our breath right now and, probably get geared up to figure out what our next strategy may be. But right now, the bad people are definitely seem to be outworking us. But I know that we're strong and we're resilient, and we'll figure this thing out.
Absolutely. And, Stephen said, I didn't lose my peace. It's a lot. My father and my father-in-law at different times yesterday reached out because they wanted to just hear their grandson's voices and to know that they were okay. And to know that my dad has lived through so much. My father-in-law has lived through so much. And for them, I'm sure, thinking that the world might have looked different by the time they had grandchildren. And to hear all the different and creative ways that our poets and our rappers and our lyricists are bringing words to life through their delivery of their pain. It's been making me very emotional, listening to it and just hearing, because we feel it. And then I've had my very close white friends call and they don't know what to say. And I said, I appreciate you just saying you don't know what to say, because you can never understand what it is that we are feeling at the same rate. You can be empathetic, you can be supportive, you can help us to advocate and push for the policies and the ways that systemic racism has crippled this country, that it can change. But the raw pain of what we're going through, you have to have Black and brown skin to understand it and to really appreciate what's going on. And this is not anti-cop. I'm praying as well for those who are in my extended family that are officers, that are on the front line every day, and they do the right thing. They are there to serve and protect. And these bad apples, as Serena and I were saying before we started, they're really spoiling the whole bunch, because people are losing sight of some of what we're dealing with and the distractions of looting and violence. It's distracting the root cause. We're not condoning it. We don't want to see that happen to small businesses. The Rona has done enough to be disastrous financially in all of our communities and businesses. But this is a result of pent up pain over and over again. When you see the posts where they put the pictures up from Trayvon Martin, back to Amadou Diallo, back to Rodney Price, like, this is not something that is new. And I think that is where I applaud the journalists who are being responsible with their words, responsible with their reporting, responsible with their interviewing. I applaud those officers who are standing up outside of the blue wall of silence. They're finally speaking out the truth. And that is courageous for them to do, because I'm sure there's backlash happening behind the scenes that we don't see. I applaud officers like in the 103 precinct here in Queens, New York, who went with the protesters where we had a peaceful protest in Queens yesterday and knelt down and took a knee to acknowledge what is going on. That was huge. Yeah. That the gang violence that is happening, and my dear friend Erica Ford in Life Camp, they were able to call a truce between some of these gang factions that are happening. So they realize this is bigger than the foolishness that we can indulge in our community. And we have to rise to the occasion to make sure this is the last time this country has to face this ugly truth. The last time we have to question whether or not justice can be served. The last time that we question whether or not we have the right laws and policies in place to protect every American equally. So I applaud those that are doing the right thing. And I warn those who are provocateurs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Those of you that are using this in an evil way, that you be exposed and that you get your just due, because this is not the time for this. This is a righteous cause. This is people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all colors saying enough is enough. I'm tired of witnessing injustice, and we need to do something about it. It is not an open season to go out and loot, kill, steal, or do whatever is happening on the back end, because that distracts from the issue at hand, that 4 officers committed murder in broad daylight and need to be arrested and brought to trial. That's what the justice system, it was anybody else. If it was Bebe, Shanae Quay, and whoever else that did that, they would have been locked up faster than they could have pulled out handcuffs. So we need to look at the system and what's happening. And that's the pain that we're all feeling, because what can you do when you feel helpless, when you feel, again, when you have to explain this to children who are traumatized right now, young Black boys who are looking and trying to understand, I was just born like this. How is this a crime? What are we talking about? Mothers who don't know how to have the conversations with their children, fathers, Black fathers who feel helpless for their Black sons because they know what they're going to go through. Like this is serious.
Right. I think you raised so many valid points. The one thing you talked about was the picture of us seeing some of our, the Trayvon Martins and so on and so forth. And so seeing that picture, it at first reminded me, you remember when we were young in school, it reminds me of a classroom picture where you see, all of your friends, in one little box. And then it finally hit me. And I about lost it when I realized these people are all deceased and they're all underage. It's almost, we could argue that they had so much potential, so much ahead of them. They were teenagers. Their lives were stripped from them. Early 20s, early 30s, early 40s, their lives were stripped from them. And the picture's just circulating around, but to really think that these were 24 or 30 lives that have been affected. And these are only the ones that we have proof of. This is only what we have proof of. This is only what has hit mainstream media. And so, that's challenging in and of itself. And so I think the better question is, so now we have people who are protesting and people who are rioting. The protests are fine, but we do have to come to a consensus on what we're protesting for and how we do it. So yes, when we're watching people, go through Target and pull clothes and stuff out, and we even had a local restaurant here that someone busted their window and stole all their liquor. Guys, that's not it. Let's not confuse the two, because we don't want to be seen as thugs that we brought this on ourselves. We want not only a real conversation, we want change, and we want change indefinitely.
Absolutely. But what you said real quick, and Tamara, I know you're going to jump in, businesses, and we're going to talk about businesses, and Stephen just posted, COVID-19 has permanently closed 40% of Black businesses in this country, and we will build more. Is his solution. That's right. This is an opportunity, and we're going to get to that in this conversation. This is an opportunity for us to rise up with solutions to the problems that we see and what we feel happening around us. We are the change, so we have to be that change. But there's a difference between protesting and rioting. And thank God for social media in this sense, because we know not everybody uses social media for good. But for those who do, they are capturing in real time what's happening, because we know that media has been skewed for years, and it's very challenging to find unbiased media that's going to tell a full story. But the story on the ground is not Black and brown people that are starting the looting and the rioting. People are coming in. That's a part of the provocateurs and those who have ulterior motives that want to bait this into a big situation. So we have to be very careful on what we're sharing responsibly on social media, that we get to the truth, to the people who are on the ground, who are seeing what's happening. There was a brave sister who actually filmed 2 white women spray painting Black Lives Matter.
Yes,
and
I saw
filmed that live, right? So social media has changed the game, that the narrative can't always be twisted when you have it on mainstream media, because the people at their own cell phones have become reporters and they're showing what's happening. So we're just going to pray that as we work through our thoughts, and Tamara's going to share some more about this, that we start focusing on the solutions. We start focusing on how do we support people on the ground. Not everybody's going to make it to every protest, but there's a financial capacity that you can help fill for bail funds, right? So the groups that are on the ground, they have bail funds that help get people out, because some people, they're not used to protesting, right? They don't know what the consequences are when the police are about to arrest. So when they start arresting you, you need to have an attorney to call. You need to know what to do. You need to know how to get your bail so you can get out. So those are tangible things that you can do if you're not out there on the front line. You can help organize and share information within your community by posting resources, posting information. I'm putting together a list that I keep generating from across the country on how you can donate and as well as advocate. So there's something that we all can do. Silence is not an option. We have to stand up in this moment. This is a critical moment in the history of this country. And I pray that we rise to the occasion. Tamara?
I just think it's amazing that honestly, everyone is right now. That was part of my Facebook post. As a parent, I'm totally against the looting, the rioting, and I think it overshadows what's really going on. I think it makes it look awful, and I think it justifies in some people's mind when they start their stereotyping and vilifying people. So that is my first reaction. But one of the things my kids actually, when we had this conversation, one of the things one of them said is, but mom, when they kneel, people are mad. When we do peacefully, people are mad. When we loot and riot, people are mad. Nothing we can do. We can't do anything without people being mad. And those are people who are just really not being heard. And they may not be doing what you would do, mom, because I know you wouldn't do that. But these are still people who haven't been heard. And this is their way of being seen and being heard. And when I listen to some of that thought, I can see that. And it's it was funny because I was reading through all the different things, and the NFL, everyone's putting out statements about the death and everything, and people are saying, but when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling and you all made it about the flag and still didn't hear him, and he was wrong and people were upset, and he lost his career over it. And so my kids were pointing those kind of things out. And I said, it's just such a ball of emotion for everybody because it's so much of this going on. I do not condone how it's being done, but I do want people to begin to listen. And not everybody is on the front lines and down protesting and being involved in it because they can't be. But I was going down the street the other day, and there was and I'll say little because I could tell she was little. It was a little old white lady sitting in her yard, and she had a sign up that said Black Lives Matter. Now, she's not down protesting, but she's doing her part. And I was just thinking that all of us need to start doing our part and realizing what that part is and how we can do that. Whether, people on social media, I always hate when people hide behind the keyboard on social media. People are putting their opinions and thoughts out there, but nobody's really coming to the table to try to solve this thing. And that's for me. I really need to be at a table solving some things because that's how my mind works. That's my contribution. And so I'm trying to find ways to do just that. The other day, my son, everyone's all excited because things are opening back up. My son's barber is back cutting hair, and she lives around the corner from us. Yes, he cuts hair, and all the little boys get their hair cut because Amber is cold, and can't nobody cut his hair but Amber. So he was going to walk around to Amber's house. She cuts out of her garage. She converted it into a little shop. So creative. But he walked over there, and I immediately started panicking. I was like, should I have let him walk to get his hair cut? He grew up in this neighborhood, but now he's 6 feet tall and he has this hair, and I won't have time to tell somebody, oh, he has a 4.0. He's going to be a scientist. He's going to take over Jack Hanna's job. I can't say all these good things about him because now I'm like, do people see him as a threat? He might come down the street and cut through a yard because he knows everybody. I'm so scared of that. And when that reality sunk in, I immediately started texting him like, where are you? Where are you? And he was like on the next street over, almost home by the time I started like badgering via text. And he was like, Mom, I'm home, but I panicked. And I'm like, wow, that is just not a great feeling for anybody. And this is just where we are right now. And so that's why I think we have to definitely do our part in making change, whatever that part is. I'm not condemning anybody for whatever part they can take. I just know for me, I have to do what I do and lend my talents, my contributions, my influence, the people that I know, the things that I know how to do, and the people I can motivate. I have to do those things because it is just a sad time.
Absolutely. It is. And, we just needed to talk through that. When we start talking about solutions, a good portion of our audience of A Dream Do Done are entrepreneurs, small business owners, or individuals who have a desire to add another stream of income to their personal economy. And when we think about where we are with COVID-19, and as you said, states are opening up. New York has a limited opening that is scheduled for the end of this week. I'm concerned about these protests leading to a different reality with our healthcare system in 2 weeks because of the amount of people that have been gathered in spaces in every major city across this country. So that's another reality that we're going to brace ourselves for and pray that it is not a challenging one, but there is also opportunity for us to create solutions. So when you think about where we are with COVID, when you think about the rebuilding that has to happen right now, we really need all of you with your innovative ideas. We need you to produce products and services that will help. I applaud those in the communities that are coming out of their houses, putting on masks and taking up brooms and cleaning up the damage that's been left over the last, now this is day 7 of what we've been seeing. And we really hope that you sit prayerfully in thought on how you can be a solution, how you can create some answers to these problems. I know that's what I'm doing, Tamara's doing, Serena's doing. We're all in our way, looking at how we can contribute to making things better. Stephen said, at this time in my life, I lead an organization that was birthed because of the 1965 attacks and killing of Black people. The solution our founders developed, I look to administer in every underserved community, and I'm looking for partners to develop more solutions. Absolutely, that's WeBo. And Stephen, when I think about the fact this wasn't on Stephen's trajectory as far as things to do after owning successful businesses, selling them, to be in a position where he was tapped as the CEO for WeBo, it's more divine timing than we could ever imagine for him to be at the helm in this season where he understands and gets the importance of business and small business innovation and entrepreneurship, and to be able to expand the reach of what this successful business has done. That's an example. And Stephen, thank you for sharing that and being here. That is a legitimate tactical way that he is using his platform. Serena has a restaurant in addition to her book that you all will be able to purchase shortly, Positive Words Only. She is opening up examples of how you can be in business in a community and serve outside of just making money as a restaurant. She's used this whole COVID time to give back.
Yeah.
Tamara, the how-to coach, has been creating all sorts of how-to modules that people can use and take the time that we were in this pause to be productive. We relaunched Destiny Designers University and adding more resources and training for our Faithpreneur movement. Like, we have to do the thing that we were put here to do. At the end of the day, Dream Do Done, we hope it inspires you to move in a direction of your goals and your dreams. But now more than ever, we need people to say yes. You've been given skills. You've been given talents. We need you to say yes to your own skills and talents. Nobody can do your job. You were put on this planet for a reason. And if it's just like the lady you saw, Tamara, holding the sign saying Black Lives Matter, that's her just saying, look, somebody acknowledge that their lives matter too, right? Not just a select few. And we wouldn't have to have this conversation if we didn't have a track record of injustice. And that's just really where we are. Stephen said, thanks for being a socially conscious business. Thank you, Stephen. After this broadcast, I'm literally putting on my sneakers and I'm heading out to our Southeast Queens Coalition. We're giving out masks today as the Census Coalition. We're trying to raise our census numbers in an area that has been very low count, even up until this point. So we're doing outreach on the ground for 2 hours, putting on our masks, putting on our gloves, giving out masks, being of service. Yes, I have tons of work that I need to finish for my company, and I will get back to that when I come back, but I'm pausing because that's my civic engagement is my duty. It's a part of what we should be doing in the places where we live. We should also be serving. Yeah. So
And I want to say, Stacie, really, that's all that any of us should really be thinking about doing. How can we use our businesses? How can we use our talents, our creativity, our ideas to contribute in whatever way that means? And don't let people guilt you into how they think you need to contribute. Contribute how you can. Use your business, use your influence, motivate others, care for others, check on others, whatever it is you need to do during this time to be able to serve and help others. I really think that's what all of this is about. And that's the way that we can problem solve together, by doing just that.
Absolutely.
I love what you said, Tamara. And in closing for me, I would also just recommend that we all practice compassion. Just as much as we, us minorities, want to be heard and seen and respected. I'm reminded when I took a seminary class and we had racial diversity training that many of my colleagues who are not, not African American, they remember the first time they ever saw, they remember the first time they've ever interacted with a Black person.
Wow.
And so, and I was in complete and utter shock. So the same time you can say, oh, I remember I rode my bike at the age of 5. I remember when I had my first slice of pizza. I remember when I had my first kiss. They were sharing stories. I remember when a Black person was sitting 2 feet away from me. And so as I was shocked, at the same time, I thought, well, no wonder why you don't know. So glad I'm here to kind of clear it up for you. But, as much as we need compassion, some of our other brothers and sisters also need compassion too, that we understand they have not seen us before, but it's also not the time for you to this is not debatable. This is, what we're going through right now is not up for debate, not up for your opinion. It's one of those things. If you don't have anything nice or supportive to say nothing. I can certainly appreciate your neighbor, Tamara, because that was a pretty bold move on her behalf, and she didn't have to do it. And that's what I appreciate more about some of our brothers and sisters that are not minorities, that when they take a stand and they don't have to. I had one of my Facebook friends who said, I know I'm going to jeopardize almost half of the business in my company, but I must say I've been taught to do what's right. And right now, this right or wrong, this is wrong what we're doing. And so we appreciate the support from other communities to be just as outraged as us. We appreciate you all marching with us and putting on your boots and lying on the ground with your hands behind you. And so we love you for that. We appreciate you seeing us, and hopefully, prayerfully, we can peacefully move forward to some solutions, but with compassion. With compassion.
And just what you said too, Serena, look at the diversity on the television, on the videos, on social media, all the people that are really out there protesting and really trying to change this thing. It's not just African Americans. It's not just brown people. It is a little bit of everybody out there. And that is one thing that I think that has been, there's been rallies and protesting in London and other countries for what's going on in America. Take a pause and look at that, people. That is tremendous. And that has not gone without us noticing. Okay. That is a tremendous thing. And it gives the whole movement strength, just seeing and feeling that. So yes, we do appreciate that. We do see that.
Absolutely. Stephen said there's a lie that there is scarcity and we must fight for it, when in fact there is abundance and we all can be successful. I think that's just a great way to close out our show. And we hope that hearing us talk through has been a little bit of mental health therapy for all of our Black and brown family out there, because we're not okay. We will be okay, but we're not okay, right? This is a lot. And faith for us helps to ground us and helps us to know that we can acknowledge what we see, we can acknowledge what we feel, but we'll trust what we know. And for us, we know that God is real and that he still sits on the throne, and he knows us. He knows our frame. He knows what we're made of. And he knows that we're going to go through these moments when we're like, yo, what's really good? Like, this is what? Yeah. But in our quiet moments, even with the tears streaming down, even with our hearts breaking in two, in those quiet, still moments, he will still speak to our hearts. He will still give us the divine downloads, the witty ideas, the innovation that he has placed inside of us so that we can really rise up to the occasion of being the answers that we need right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, that we need right now. Martin, Malcolm, Frederick, Harriet, all the names of our foremothers and fathers, their blood wasn't spilled unnecessarily. Like, they started the cry for justice, and we have to be the ones to finish it.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line. And this new generation has a whole different set of vigor when it comes to how they are articulating themselves. And I'm so glad you said that, Tamara, because I too had to listen to my sons and listen to their thoughts and what they're seeing amongst their friends. And we know in any revolution, it's always the young people that lead. And while I might think I'm still 21, I have passed the young people category. See, that's why I love you so, Aurora. Yeah, I passed the young people category, so I'm just going to do my part to support them, and we appreciate you supporting us here at Dream Do Done. And thank you for letting us have a different conversation as Tamara closes us out for today. And I just want to thank Janetta and Jessica and Andrew and all of you that are tuning in. If this has blessed you, share it with someone and let them know to subscribe to watching us, as we're here every Monday, 1-ish Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to make sure we get the dreams into action, which is the doing, so that you can get it done and celebrate your progress. So, Tamara, close this out, my sister.
And and I know we're trying to close out, but this just really impressed upon my heart as I was listening to my sisters talk. If you really think about what we've said all along about Dream Do Done and what Stephen just commented about, there's enough for everyone. That's what this show is really all about. One, we're showing you our journeys. We're showing you that despite everything going on around us, we are keeping it moving, and we're still here in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of rioting, whatever's going on. Dream Do Done has been here, but it's all about you all. It's about us coming together, because there's enough success out there for all of us to share, to help one another. And that's what this is really about. And that's part of this solution, making sure that there's enough for everybody and that everybody has access to the information, the tools, the resources. And that is what Dream Do Done has always been about. You see 3 women sitting here who don't mind collaborating and helping one another. There's enough to go around. There's enough for us. There's enough for you. And I think that is a tremendous start to part of the solution. So, I'm closing us out. See how I do? We so appreciate you. We love you. We love each other, but we love you too. You are all part of this family. And we just appreciate you being here. We will see you next week. We hope that by next week, we will have some more solutions in place, that more people will feel at ease and rest, and that we'll be able to really talk about some real solutions of moving this thing forward, so that we don't have these incidents over and over again, but that we have solutions that we can work together and move forward together. So see you next week. Have a great week. Do the best you can. If you need some mental health, go get it, because this is the time to really be strong and to not let this stuff overtake you. So we love you, and thanks for tuning in today.
See you all later. Excellent job, Tamara. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everyone.